Hi there, my people. This is Rosaline Sebolao once more, coming to you from Home of Inspiration, where we do professional development and life coaching. It has been a while since we spoke, and I'm sure in the comfort of your homes, you're going to enjoy the session of today. Today, as we celebrate, actually, this month, as we celebrate Africa Month, I just want us to be proud of ourselves as Africans, but look at social entrepreneurship from our African perspective. And I'm going to share a little bit, not really sharing, because remember, I want you to buy this book. My book is Wisdom from the School of Life. And in these sessions, I always say I'm applying wisdom. How do we apply wisdom in our lives? So I'm just going to take from interaction, which is my second chapter, and talk about social entrepreneurship. How do we interact with the environment, interact with other people, and identify the problems that people have and say, can I assist? All of us have got the potential to be able to contribute so positively to our world or to our country. And now today I'm just going to use a few examples, taking a few challenges from our Sustainable Development Goals. And I think you'll also read about that in this book. So yeah, take your cup of coffee or tea and enjoy as we start on this part of interaction. I had an opportunity at some point to go to Stellenbosch. And while I was there at this guest house, I admired this woman. From her own garden, she was feeding the whole, all the guests from her guest house. And I was wondering, what is difficult for us as Africans? Everything you can think of. Herbs, she had. Vegetables, she had. I mean, even plums. I've never seen such a big plum from the garden. Olive oil, she had olive oil from from her own garden. So this actually inspired me to say, the fact that I managed to interact with this woman, I've really benefited. That skill and that inspiration from her. So I'm just saying to us, can we learn to benefit from our interactions? Don't just interact with people for the sake of chilling without learning something from them. Now, having said that, I think I've explained in this book that I was born and bred in the Free State. However, my home is in Limpopo. Now, today, I would like to focus on the 3 H's. I want to talk about the health, I want to talk about hunger, and I want to talk about housing, and how we can actually, learn from our ancestors that we have interacted with them to say, how did they deal with the issue of health? How did they handle the problem, the challenge of hunger? And how did they have houses when most of them were not actually working? So it's important today to realize that all of us as Africans, we can actually learn from our old people and those who have already passed, that there is nothing that cannot be solved. So in social entrepreneurship, I'm saying all of us can actually learn to become entrepreneurs while we're solving the problems of our society, which is the main purpose why we teach young people at educational institutions. When you go to university, don't go there and say, I'm going to learn so that I can get a job. Go there and say, I'm going to acquire knowledge and learn how can I use this knowledge to implement, to solve the problems of our people. And that's exactly what wisdom is all about. Now, coming back to my home, what I have here with me are the seeds of the moringa tree. This tree is planted in my home in Limpopo, in my uncle's yard. How amazing. Now, you probably have heard of moringa tea, moringa herbs, you know the health benefits of this moringa, and you wonder, why do we still have people who are not utilizing the African herbs when you can plant them? The environments are different, of course, but it's so easy. I've tried to plant this. If you take care of it, you just put it in a serviette and leave it to in a warm place, which is wet as well, in a dark place, and in a few days it has germinated. You can plant it in a small pot, and then once it grows, you can plant it in the soil. Now the benefits are many. People who had hypertension, diabetes, they can tell you that once I use moringa tea, I actually feel much better. And it's not only that, there are many things that you can actually get, health benefits that you can get from the moringa tree. And I think it's not only the moringa, it's just that I have this and I wanted to use just one example. We currently have been challenged with the COVID-19, and most of the people have started using what is called lengana. Pardon me, I don't know what it's called in English, but in Sizulu they say umkhwenyane. So those herbs have actually been very useful. When people just steam with them, they put it in boiling water and just steam, and it opens your respiratory system. So that has been helpful, and I'm sure there are many other herbs that you can get. I know that my aunt, who lived for 100 years, used to use many herbs. Whenever you complain about something, she would quickly boil something and give you. And at that time, because she was a traditional healer, we used to say, "Hey, Rahati, with your medicines." Meanwhile, because I was young, I did not realize these herbs were very useful. Because, as I explained in the book, we come from the soil, we still have that interaction with the environment, and things that come from the soil. I think in the Word of God, God said, "I give you every seed-bearing plant for you as food." So you can imagine, if it is food, you can also use it as medicine. There are a variety of herbs that can be used. Now, in this time and age where people are challenged with their health, where there are people who are wise enough to can say, how can I help our communities to start living on the plants that they have? You know what, it even goes further to the second age of hunger. Why do we still have people who are struggling with hunger when there are so many things that people can produce with their hands? All we need is a small space of land, and you can actually plant vegetables for yourself. Now this takes me back to my home again. Whenever I visit Limpopo, it's such a blessing when I come back, because the food preservation that I see there are a lot of food and fruit, vegetables and fruit that are preserved. Even if I go there when it is no longer time for those fruit, but I still find them because they will have preserved them. Now I'll talk about the morojo, which you might say it's a vegetable or spinach. They dry it in their own way, and it can stay for many years. So it's so easy. People will never get hungry as long as they apply the indigenous knowledge that they have to say, how can I spare this food and save it for times when I might not be able to plant more from my own garden. And you know that goes with the skill of being able to preserve. It's a knowledge, but also the skill. If you do not have that skill, go and interact with people who have the skill, and you'll be able to learn from how they do that. It's quite important. In my research, in my doctoral research, I was doing research on integrating indigenous knowledge into the project management. And I remember back when I was working for the Department of Health, that we would go to the communities and say, here are the vegetables, here are the seeds, go and plant. But because it is not what they love, it is not what they want to do, the projects would actually fail. So it is important for us to find out, to interact with the communities and find out what they are good at, what they are passionate about, before we can actually just impose our, our projects on them. So it's quite important. So the health part is sorted as Africans. There are many ways in which we can learn from our old African people how they maintain their health. And then the hunger part. We grew up being many in the families, but you would not see an African child going hungry or going to school hungry, mainly because Africans used to take care of each other. The food would be preserved and the food would be shared. So I think we need to really revive that kind of spirit as Africans and take care of one another, so that we do not see young people or children going hungry when we can actually do something. So food preservation, maybe it's a business idea for you, you can run with it. So there are many ideas. As a social entrepreneur, all you need to think is, what idea do I have? And how do I make this idea work so that other people can benefit and you can also benefit? Now, in my yard here, I also have a small garden. I have lettuce, I've got spinach, I've got tomato. At some point, I actually had the lerosa that I planted from Limpopo, and I enjoyed the morojo from that. So it's quite important for us to interact with people that have the knowledge for us to be able to live. You need to get this wisdom from other people. Now, I've spoken about the health, I've spoken about the hunger, and these are some of the sustainable development goals that the world really is trying to achieve. But it's me and you who must actually contribute and assist the world. Now, the third one, I'm not going to talk about all those sustainable development goals. We know that most of the people now are struggling with housing. You find people who are homeless, you find people who are living, many of them living in small shacks. If people are 7 or 8 in a small shack, you can imagine what the overcrowding does to their health. So it is quite a challenge. But I ask myself, because I look back at where my grandparents lived, people used to build with their own hands. So those kind of skills, I think when we thought we were developing, we actually threw away some of the important skills that could actually be benefiting our young people now. So maybe we need to go back and say, let me go and interact with those that are still alive, those from whom we can still learn, and maybe grasp some skills that I can come and teach the young people. The minute you take 4 or 5 people and teach them, you have definitely changed the life of an African child. So it is important for us to not throw away the skills in the name of development, because when you do that, it means we are really not developing comprehensively. So we still keep the skills that we've learned from our old people, but also add from the Western ones, just to enhance these skills that we have. There's nothing wrong in developing. However, we should not really throw the skills that we have learned from our people. Now, when we talk sustainable livelihoods, we are saying, what can we do with the environments that we find ourselves in? We can actually be healthy in our environment. If we take care of this environment, it will take care of us. And we can also not go hungry, because this very environment, that we can plant food from it, and we can share with so many people. I am not really a fan of tomato. Once this tomato is ripe, I can share with so many people. The spinach that I've planted, I've shared with so many people. The lettuce I've shared. So all those things, once you take care of the environment, it takes care of you and also takes care of other people. And that's how we solve each other's problems. We don't have to wait for somebody to come from abroad when we have all the resources in our country. And we talk about housing. It doesn't mean that you must go and take people and live with them in your house. But think of the skills that you might be having. There's a friend of ours who was saying people can actually build houses from the bottles of Coke, you know. So there are many things that you can learn as you interact with other people. So in this book, friends, and I'm going to encourage you once more, Wisdom from the School of Life. You can hear that what I'm sharing is nothing from school, not only the knowledge that I've gained from school, but it is the wisdom that I've gained as I interacted with the people that are so knowledgeable, that are so wise, and I've learned from them. So if you buy this book and share, get the knowledge that I've shared in here, but also go and share it with others, because we are blessed to be a blessing. So I really would like you to remember that while we are celebrating our being Africans, let us also show our young people that it is cool to be an African. I hope that you are blessed with this message. Go and empower others. Change the lives, your life, and the lives of other people. Remember to order a copy of this book for yourself. The price is only 150 rand per copy. For you to order, you can actually pay, we'll share the bank details with you. And then once you've paid 150, if you are outside Bloemfontein, you can add the 70 rand for delivery, and then we'll send the copy to you. And the proof of payment can be sent to my email address, which is rasaboya3@gmail.com, all small letters. And I will also show you some pictures of my garden which I spoke about, and I hope you'll be inspired by that. Thank you very much, and I hope once you've ordered this, you'll enjoy. And please subscribe to my YouTube video, share with your friends, and also make some comments there and like. And I hope you're blessed with this message. And let's enjoy Africa Month together, friends. Thank you very much.